Hello viewers, it's Ed Midsole Bud here. Today I've got for you my top 10 running shoes of 2024. I review a large number of running shoes here on the channel, which are my favourite models on foot this year for training, recovery and racing. Let's find out. Thanks for joining me here on the channel. If it's your first time and you haven't subscribed yet, please do so. It's free of charge, don't you know? Also give us a thumbs up like as well. Also drop us a comment as well, telling me what you think of my selections. Give me yours as well, your top 5s or top 10s down in the comments. Always cool to see them. Let's get into it. We got some honourable mentions first that have just missed out on the top 10. First of those honourable mentions is the HOKA CIELO X1. Just misses out due to the slightly more weighty nature and the price tag really. I feel it's a really nice enjoyable ride, this one, very smooth, though I just feel the price a little bit higher and some of the other models that I've got in my list today offer a little bit more for less. Still a banger though, still enjoying it, but yeah, just a bit overpriced for what it is, I think. The ENDORPHIN Pro 4 from Saucony is another one that just misses out on the top 10. Just could never quite dial in the upper fit here, even though I put some other laces in to try and improve that sort of grip round the foot. The midsole was superb though, lots of squash there and a nice compressive responsive feel. So just misses out on the top 10 this one. The Takumi Sen 10, still a top shoe for me, though I just feel that there's so many models in that Adizero lineup that are very, very similar really, bar a few millimeters of midsole foam. It feels like you've got to pay to fork out for more foam effectively. It's like the same shoe just with a little bit less foam here. The Sen 10 was a very subtle iteration of this model, and the three that came before it were very similar in fairness, and the three that came before this one were very similar in fairness. So just misses out on the top 10, the Takumi Sen 10. That's the honourable mentions out the way. Let's get into the top 10. First one is the Cloud Boom Strike from On. One of the only On shoes I reviewed this year actually. Thank goodness though, it was a real banger. Light, nimble, lots of fun cushion and bounce to this one. The upper was interesting to say the least. Quite a generous toe box here, but I did really like the material that On are using around the foot. The strange sort of insole, midsole insert that they're using here is quite different really to anything I've tried before. Really gave the shoe a quite significant character, a nice exhilarating, enjoyable shoe. Certainly weight wise it was in the ballpark with some of the other race contenders. Using a Puma like material here. It's very soft and I found it to be quite durable actually. On had some good rubber on the outsole as well to provide some grip and traction. Perhaps in terms of stability, this isn't one I may recommend if you are not a sort of experienced, seasoned user of plated shoes. Does seem to work a little better if you're using a mid to forefoot strike in the Cloud Boom Strike. So one of the most fun shoes in 2024, that's no lie. Position number 10. At position 9 is the ENDORPHIN Speed 4 from Saucony. Improved grip on this one, certainly over the V2 and V3. Lots more ridges here, just a bit more aggressive. Just seems to work slightly better for the UK conditions, certainly on my local routes. Felt this one was a little bit closer to the absolutely superb original. The V3 was a little bit too soft. This one was a little bit more responsive, not quite as compressive, I suppose. The right balance also between upper softness and plushness and lockdown. Aside from some slightly overly stretchy laces, which is a common problem in a lot of running shoes, this was a great all-round banger capable of some real changes in pace and different effort levels. Quite a versatile shoe. Just put this one a little bit lower on the list due to the price tag, getting towards 200 quid. I'd like it if it was a tiny bit cheaper. I think a change up perhaps will also be needed in a V5 in 2025. Maybe they're going to introduce some Power and HG in there somewhere. Still a great shoe though, and one that got lots of miles on my feet this year. In position 8, it's the Fast R Nitro Elite 2. I remember getting hold of this shoe. It was one of the most exhilarating runs ever. I got it right at the end of 2023, and most of my initial testing, though, was around Christmas last year and in the early part of 2024. Absolutely a forward move on from the original, which was a little bit tough, I guess, in the heel. Much softer this time round. There's some real energy return from this new version of Nitro Elite from Puma. Of course, you've got that extended carbon plate here that goes right up you know, beyond the toe box, gives the shoe some real character, and you just couldn't help but run quickly in this one. Lively, well-fitting and mega fun to run in. Of course, the Puma DEVIATE NITRO Elite 3 did follow the blueprint here, slightly lighter that shoe, and with the same foam. I found the foam to be super durable, very responsive, just never seemed to tear, barely even showed any sign of creasing whatsoever. It's almost like a football boot upper. It's really easy to get a great lockdown in this one. The outsole of the shoe showed incredible durability as well. At 100 miles, it's barely anywhere whatsoever. Still producing the goods as well in the midsole around about that time. That tells you everything you need to know about this shoe, and it's why it's number 8 on my top 10 list for 2024. Next up at position 7, a more daily driver, the Adizero SL2 from the 3-stripe brand Adidas. This is on the list purely due to the incredible value that it offers. Very light shoe, but you've got some of the Adidas top level tech in Light Strike Pro within that midsole, but a nice durable case around it. One of the best shoes of the year. You can pick these up for next to nothing really. I've seen some pairs for like 65 quid for what this delivers. You know, despite the fact that it hasn't got a continental outsole, don't worry too much about that. You'll get loads of miles out of these. Very versatile shoe. I think any runner can get something out of this one, whether you're a novice or very experienced sort of person. Adidas really hit the spot with the SL2. If you're perhaps looking to get into running or like upgrading your shoes from some cheaper ones, then I think the SL2 is a really good stopgap between, you know, some of these top overpriced super shoes and some of those cheaper models that are not really going to advance you forward. So number 7 on the list this year, the Adidas Adizero SL2. At number 6 on the list is probably the best HOKA shoe I've ever tried out. This is the MACH X2. Love the ride here. It's smooth, it's cushioned, it's forgiving, also very comfortable, and it drives you forward. Found it really good for that sort of tempo level work. A sublime upper, just fits almost like a football boot, again similar to the Puma Fast R Nitro Elite 2. Not too generous in the upper, just sort of reasonable. They got it just right in terms of the toe box height. The stack a little bit higher than a lot of other daily shoes that you might pick up, though without the weight penalty of those maximally cushioned ones. The foam here is soft, yet it's very responsive. I found it to be pretty durable too. Pulled together by a plate as well, so there's some stability here. So whether you're a heel striker or someone who's sort of more mid to forefoot, I think you'll get something out of the MACH X2. Really impressive stuff from a model that I hadn't tried before, and it does make me want to go out and pick up the Mach 6 and perhaps a few other offerings that use a similar design to this one. A few reviewers did mention they had some early wear in the heel, but I haven't really got anything there to get too worried about. Approaching 100 miles on this one, and yeah, it's been a fantastic sort of daily plated trainer, but I think you could use it as a race shoe as well. Grip was also on point. HOKA have really improved that aspect of most of their shoes this year. No problem on any surface or in any weather conditions. So at number 6, rightly so, the MACH X2 from HOKA. Before we get to position number 5, if you haven't done so, please help the channel out by hitting that subscribe button and give the video a thumbs up like to get it out to more runners. Danke schön. At 5, it's one of the best value super race shoes out there, the Puma DEVIATE NITRO Elite 3. Wore this one for quite a few races this year and for some training too. One of Puma's best offerings up to this point, hands down. Awesome cushion and return from this new version of the Puma Nitro Elite. I found it quickly expands back to shape and sort of propels you forward. The upper construction and fit as well was absolutely tuned for me. Perhaps if you've got a very wide foot you might have a bit of an issue, but pretty much all round Puma have hit the spot on this new version of the shoe. No issues with durability, coming up to 100 miles. I mean, the outsole looks barely used really, and the midsole material doesn't sort of degrade too much. It doesn't tear and crease and rip away. This one really came into its own for like half marathon distance for me, though I think you could race a really fast 10 or 5k in it as well, and you could use it in your training as well. It's durable enough that you don't need to worry too much about wearing it out there on some pretty harsh weather conditions or difficult sessions. No bits are going to fall off or anything. Ignore the naysayers about Puma's durability. It is some of the best actually out there of any manufacturer. So this is my number 5 shoe for 2024. At position 4, it's been a go-to for pretty much all training, the SUPERBLAST 2 from Asics. I love the improved traction in this new version of the shoe. That was a bit of a downfall of the first one, but Asics have remedied that. It's much better now. For me, it does still fit perhaps a half size long, so if you are planning on picking up a pair, I would recommend to go down a half size. Better grip. We've still got the super light stack here. It's a really big stack, but you barely feel it on foot. You can really turn up the pace. You don't have that weight penalty like many other max cushion shoes do. To put it into perspective, the Invincible Run 3 up against this one, the Nike's 60 grams heavier. That's very noticeable on foot. Yes, it's a pricey shoe, but I feel this one could fulfill many different boxes in your training. It's a really versatile model. It is the true Botham of shoes. Only downfall really is it's just so hard to find a pair, though it has got slightly easier. There's slightly improved availability now. There's been a few recent drops of this one, so hopefully you've managed to grab one. It is one of the best of the year. So at 4, it's the SUPERBLAST 2 from Asics. At position 3, it really surprised me. Been one of the best shoes of the year, the Nike Zoom Fly 6. Now, at the start of the year, if you told me I'd be holding this one up and saying it's one of the best, I wouldn't have believed you. Big return to form in terms of weight. It's much lower than some of the absolute bricks that have been in the past. Better underfoot cushion from the two foams that they fused together. And there's a more representative feel of Nike's two top-tier race shoes here in the Zoom Fly 6. It's just a brilliant, superior, durable training model with a plate, and it's only 155 quid. It puts a lot of those race shoes to shame. Grip of the gods. And I'd say it's probably as versatile as some of the classic Dutch, total football heroes from back in yesteryear. The plate provides a bit of pop and some stability back there in the heel, all housed in a really comfortable upper. I mean, what more can you want for 155 quid? Brilliant shoe from Nike this year. Well done, Swoosh. They did have a few duds, but this certainly wasn't one of them. Worthy of position 3. It's just sad that you can't really get many of these at the moment in pretty much all of the colorways. They're sold out. I wanted to buy another pair actually for Christmas to put it under the tree, but I can't find any in my size, so there we go. That's how good it is. The runners know. So one of the most well-received shoes this year at position 3, got to be the Zoom Fly 6. At position 2, this one brought me a huge amount of joy this year with some PBs on the 10k and half marathon distance. It is the Asics METASPEED Sky Paris. It's very seldom that a running shoe comes in for review that is just so light and improved from the previous one that I really loved, and I think my 10k PB was in the previous version of this shoe. It's just so light. The maximal cushioning that you get, it just begs belief. Super propulsive and very bouncy is the new Flight Foam Turbo Plus. Just really seems to work for me. I'm not entirely sure what it is, but it has some magic about it. True banger, a real upgrade over the initial one. Asics know how to make a top level race shoe now. I couldn't actually believe what I was holding in my hands when it first appeared. It's so light, to get a shoe with this much cushion that's like sub 200 grams or whatever it is. It's amazing. I guess the only minor gripe here is durability. The foam does take a pounding. I've tried my best to kind of repair it where I can, but I enjoyed it, and that's what it's all about, right? Great grip and a top level upper. Almost my favourite of the year in 2024. The Asics METASPEED Sky Paris at number 2. I think viewers of the channel probably can guess what my favourite shoe is, but if you haven't already, just take a moment to do that. Okay, at position 1, a shoe that was a huge amount of fun to run in. It's exciting, it's propulsive, yet it's very forgiving and compressive too. In all fairness, I wasn't really dead set on it when I first got it, but I've learnt to love it. It's the ALPHAFLY 3 from Nike. This one's seen a lot of miles, as you can tell by the grey upper. It's easily the shoe with the most mileage across this year as well for me. Just love it on those long runs. It really saves the legs, and you can turn up the pace when you want to without that weight penalty. Nike hit the mark on this one, reducing that weight down, removing some of the foam where it's not needed, improving the fit and overall kind of underfoot feel in general, just freeing up those air units at the front so you can engage them a little bit more. It just gives you a slightly more exciting, exhilarating ride. Yes, the shoe is expensive, but I think when a shoe tuber buys like 3 pairs of these, then it tells you what you need to know. Nobody sent me this shoe. I have bought another 2 pairs, so I just love them so much. It just seems to get better as well. These are about 150 miles and they seem just as good, maybe better than they were out the box. I think at this point it's a really good like up-tempo trainer if you're doing longer runs and you don't want to destroy your legs on road and pavement. Brilliant shoe and an exciting model. It will be the one I use for Manchester Marathon in April next year. Running should be like exciting and satisfying as well, right? And this shoe certainly is. Okay, this is my list. Hope you enjoyed it. Little sort of Christmas special for you, I guess. I haven't included the Asics NovaBlast 5. I've literally just got that shoe like a few weeks ago, so I'm not quite there to put it into any list at the moment. I reckon it will be in there for next year though. Let me know your top shoes for 2024 down in the comments. Very quick musical interlude for you. It's another Christmas one from the Eels. Everything's going to be cool this Christmas. Right from when I got this, I think it was a B-side in fact, maybe Cancer for the Cure or something, years and years ago. I heard it and it's been one of my favourite Christmas tunes. It's rocking, there's some distorted organ in there, fuzzy guitars, really fantastic festive lyrics too. Quite inspiring, you know, hearing all the things that E must really love about Christmas, you know, putting them all together into a song like this. It's chaotic but also rocking in the same way. Not a lot of people know about it either, so hopefully you, viewer, can go and check it out too. Eels with Everything's Gonna Be Cool This Christmas. Thanks for tuning in, people. Hope you enjoyed today's video. Hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up like. My name's Eddbud and I'll be seeing you